everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for August 11th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me today is Jacob Jones. How you doing, Jacob?
Sometimes I want a different intro, but I get that's just like your go-to. But sometimes I think a little variety sprinkled in would really make a person feel like, you know,
Like there's a showman's brewing.
basically.
Should we tell people that we're in a showman's, but then not actually be in a showman's, or should we actually be in a showman's but not tell people we're in a showman's?
I'm down for option B, and yeah, let's do that. But I would also want to be in a showman's and also tell other people we're in a showman's. And so let's do that way. But I'm doing good this morning, drinking my water, feeling energized, and making it work. How are you?
I'm doing well. These players, they love to do their late night shenanigans. But I will say that yesterday they actually did some stuff during the day, so that was nice.
Yeah, it was. They do like to be up late, and sometimes I'll because I typically get up at I don't know, 8, 9, 10, no, not 8, 7, 7, 8, 9. One of those. No, 7. I have to start work at 9, so like 7, 8, a little bit. And I see updates. I'm like, this was posted an hour ago, but I'm of course 3 hours ahead, which you are. You actually shouldn't be bitching and complaining about this because you lay your head down in the same time zone that they lay their head down in. So
Yeah,
your
but Jacob
complaints.
Jones, what time are you waking up? Because I'm waking up probably about 3 hours earlier.
Wait, so say I wake up at 8, you wake up at 5?
Depending on the day,
No,
depending
you
on how much
don't. No,
there
you
is to do.
don't.
Sometimes I do, yeah.
And what do? Drink a coffee and like start your day?
I start prepping for the update.
Well, also you don't have a dog, and so like if you had a dog, I would get why you would wake up that early.
I do have a cat.
But cats lick themselves, pee themselves. Like you don't need to open the door for a cat. Okay, you need to do that for a dog.
Oh, tell that to Kellis.
Okay, Kellis, you listen. We had the same birthday.
It's true.
I don't know how we got down this way.
We were here to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 24 live feeds. It was day 36 in the house. And there's really just a lot of, again, nothing really actually changing at all. But a lot of game talk, a lot of things moving in place, kind of shifting slightly over the course of the day. So let's get right to it. Taylor started the day talking to the cameras briefly. She's going to have a longer cam talk later in the day, but she talks about how devastated she would be if Kyle left tomorrow night, which is now tonight, because that would mean that Daniel is still in the game. And she is excited to record her goodbye message to Daniel. She's been really waiting for this one, and she's excited to do it.
I heard goodbye messages. They haven't really been shown, but they have been when CBS released like the other outgoing messages. They have been spot on. So I'm kind of excited to see this, and hopefully hers gets publicized this time.
So Kyle's going to do some one-on-one campaigning throughout the day, and this is really like a huge portion of the game talk here, and really just very hugely beneficial, I think, to Kyle's game. People should do this more often when they're not on the block, just in general. I don't care if you already have an alliance. Just have some one-on-one game talk with people that you're working with. It's very beneficial to your game. He starts with Brittany and tells her that he feels best with her and Michael in the game. Brittany agrees. She says she also likes Taylor. She talks about Turner. She's not really sure about Turner. Joseph seems like he's getting close to a lot of people, and she probably feels least close to Monty. If something were to happen within the alliance, or outside of the alliance, that she would definitely want to stick together with Kyle and pull in Alyssa and make something happen there. And Kyle says, yeah, luckily Jasmine is shooting herself in the boot, and the alliance seems to be targeting Jasmine instead of Alyssa, which is very beneficial to Kyle, Michael, and Brittany.
What do you think of that foursome? Like, I get you want to. I don't know. I just get so frustrated because, for one, I get frustrated with Kyle. I've been frustrating him for a couple of days, but I haven't had an outlet to air it out on. So I'm gonna take this little small amount of time. Like I get you in an alliance, you want to position yourself in the best way, but it gets so frustrating at times when you're in that alliance and the alliance is like kind of bulletproof and you're still like insecure. You're still trying to, oh, I don't really trust this person. You're still trying to in subtle ways, still, this person under the bus. If you don't trust them, you don't trust them. But like, but I get it because this is a game where like alliances fault, you have to be fluid and play, just kind of play every direction. But it just gets frustrating when I keep hearing the same thing about, I don't trust these people just as much. And like, why don't you? And like, what's up with this new group that you want to form? And Brittany too, and Michael too. And it's just like, why? Like I rather Turner be brung in. He's in the alliance, even though Brittany has like her like insecurities about Turner. But like, you shouldn't feel that affirmed with Alyssa either. The only thing Alyssa doing is smacking it down on Kyle. And so, like, that's like you're only like, oh, get out of here. It just frustrates the hell out of me anytime I hear that foursome group together, because only people I like out of that foursome is I like Brittany a lot of times. I like Michael a lot of times, but Kyle is like, Alyssa is like, you know what I mean? So like, whatever. So anytime you mention that foursome, I'm gonna be like, just so you know.
Well, I think that basically, especially for Michael and Brittany, it's vital to them that they break up the leftovers before 7. And Kyle seems to be willing to do it in order to pull in Alyssa. So that crack is kind of the exploit that they need to take those shots at Joseph and Monty, so that when they get to 7, they're not the primary targets at that point. I think that well, that's the thing about alliances, right? Like, if you do go down to 7 with your alliance, some people are going to benefit from that and some people aren't. We found that out with Tiffany last year, right? So
Ooh,
it's
that's a
at the end
sore
of the
spot.
day. Yeah.
Let's not rehash that, Taran. But what I was getting at, I understand it. I get it. Yes, it's good. But do I like it? No, it's annoying to me. And
Mm,
that will never change. The fact that it's good for their games, yes. But the fact that I don't like it, it's still yes, because it's what I like and what I
yes.
don't like.
I think is it the involvement of Kylissa?
Yes, basically. Like I think that's what it is. I think that's my I get turned off by that. And so that's probably what it is.
Yes. All right. Well, he's also going to talk. Kyle's also going to talk with Michael, and Kyle basically tells him the same thing he told Brittany. I feel closest with you and Brittany in the game. I want to go far with you. Michael agrees. All good stuff there. He also talks to Terrence, who tells him, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Daniel has the votes." But there was this whole plan. It was supposed to go into place. I orchestrated it. I threw the veto to Michael. He was supposed to leave noms the same. We were supposed to take out Monty this week, but didn't happen. So, what are we gonna do? He says he
Um
feels close with Kyle and he wants to work with him in turn.
I know that we had a nickname last season for Derek F, Big D. People turned Big D not to Big Derek, but to Big Delusional. And I don't know, I'm testing the waters a little bit on this. But I think Terrence also can go under that same umbrella as being very delusional, big delusional. We
Big
can
T.
eat I feel like we can easily put that name to him because the actions, the things that he's saying, the realizations that like that he's going through in this house. I'm like, homeboy, where did you get this from? Draw a correlation because it's not matching up for me. You know those graphs that are like dot 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 dots and there's no correlation, but then you have some graphs that are like the X and Y match. The X and Y do not
Mm.
match. It's no X and Y reasoning. It's
The
no
dots are just
correlation. The
randomly on
dots
the
are
graph.
random. The dots are randomly placed. They're purple. They're mean and mad and give off Eeyore. And I'm just like, I don't need those dots in my life. Like I don't need those dots. And they don't make damn sense. And I think I can say at certain points in my life I'm a delusional person. But I don't think if I was in this position, I wouldn't be as delusional as Terrence, thinking that he's like the mover and shaker of this house. Child, you're not moving or shaking, not a damn thing. So I would need that confidence level to go extremely down. And I need you to sit back, evaluate, look at things from a different perspective, and then hopefully we can snap and you can make common sense out of common sense. But common sense is not common, as we've learned in this house.
What are you going to do? Well, Kyle's also going to talk with Monty. Kyle reiterates to Monty, hey, the trust we have cannot be replicated. Nobody else in the leftovers really understands everything that we've been through. How great is it? Just a couple weeks ago, we were standing in this very room, not knowing what to do or where to go, and now we're here in this alliance, killing it. I trust you so much, Monty. We came from post pack. Nobody else really gets what we had to sort of do to go through post pack into leftovers. The pound is so solid. We're totally in. We're totally fine. It's good stuff from Kyle. This is what he should be doing with Monty.
Good stuff from Kyle. Good stuff. And no one has cleared Kyle yet. So he can be playing this game where he's all in on that alliance because no one is clearing him. No one is being like, well, Kyle, you actually didn't want to do this. You actually had another agenda set. But since no one is clearing his ass, he has the ability to go in and kind of lay not a brand new foundation, but just like strengthen the foundation that him and Monty have. I wish someone would clear that ass real quick, real good. Like they have the power. Michael and Brittany and the other side has that power to do that. Kyle has put himself in a way that they don't want to do it to him. I have to respect it, but do I like it? Feelings over facts.
All right. Well, Kyle also talks to Indy. He talks a lot about his relationship with Alyssa, with Indy. Says, please tell me if it's like a step too far. No, it's great. Even though I'm always complaining about you interrupting my sleep. He says he really connects with her personally. He feels like in the game, he's always the last to find things out. And he's like, same. Yeah, we're totally like in a similar spot in the game, Indy. She's like, yeah, I agree. We should definitely work together. And she's like, yeah.
And he pisses me off just as much as Kyle do. So if you think in any other take that's gonna be like, oh yeah, Kyle did a good job, had a good conversation. I like that he's like, let me know, giving her some type of like willing and dealing power. Like, I trust you. Let me know if like this is too much and like what you see in the house. Cause I know you're like your ears to the house. Like, let me know if me and Alyssa are doing too much. I like that he put that perspective out there to her, but it was just annoying. And I think let's refrain from certain comments, but yeah. Are you a fan of Kalissa?
Am I a Kylissa fan?
Kylissa, yeah. Are you a Kylissa fan?
I think I'm more hashtag. I need to come up with a new one. Eat a muffin instead is my latest one.
Eat a muffin. Your hashtag eat a muffin.
Yeah.
Okay, work. Okay, I like that. I am too.
Let's see. Kyle's also going to talk with Joseph, and they talk about targeting Jasmine next week if they win HOH. And this is generally the situation here where most of the alliance seems to be talking about targeting Jasmine or Terrence or even Indy. That it really is a situation now where Alyssa is kind of on the back burner here. Nobody's really talking about targeting Alyssa. Joseph still talks about Alyssa as probably the bigger comp threat, but the notion of straight up targeting Alyssa is pretty far down the list of priorities for the leftovers, which is a mistake for most of the leftovers here. That really she should be the primary target, both because she is probably going to be winning competitions more often than the rest of them, but also because if you leave her in the game, you leave the opportunity for Kyle to turn on you with Alyssa, which he pretty much plans to do. So they should really get on that. But as of right now, they're not really looking in that direction.
Yeah, I feel like the people in that alliance that specifically should be. I mean, and Joseph like hinted at like Alyssa should be the one, like at certain points. Alyssa should be the one that we're looking at. Alyssa's kind of the brains now that, X, Y, and Z have left the game. But definitely Monty, definitely Joseph, definitely Taylor. Basically, the other side of the alliance that Kyle did not want to put into that foursome should always be looking at Alyssa as an penetrating force on that alliance, because as we have seen, well, live feeder wise, we've seen Alyssa and Brittany definitely bond. We've seen Brittany then go to Michael and say like, hey, like Alyssa kind of, she trusts us a lot, and so that's an end for Alyssa to kind of take control, not taking control of the game, but definitely impede on that alliance and shake some shit up. So I would definitely be looking at it like, homegirl, what are you doing? We need to be targeting you. But I think Kyle has also done a great job at making that not a thing that they look at, the other opposing side of that line. So, I mean, toodaloo to him, I guess. Not toodaloo, but like snaps to him.
Yes. Well, Kyle's also going to talk with Turner, and Turner opens up with, all right, Kyle, what's your pitch? Because I'm thinking about voting you out. And Kyle's like, haha. Kyle says, wait a minute. Did Alyssa just leave the room with Daniel crying? What's going on there? Don't worry. We'll get to it. But he's going to finish the conversation with Turner first. He quickly talks about like, okay, well, we agree. We're all in on the pound. Yes. Still locked in on our final two. Absolutely. Things are still in place. Things are great. Awesome. But what was happening? Why did Alyssa leave that room with Daniel?
Say it.
In tears, near tears. Well, Daniel pulls Alyssa in and he drops the bomb. Kyle didn't want to use the veto last week. What? It doesn't make any sense. No, it does make sense. What happened is that Monty pulled me into a room. He told me not to use the veto. And then when I went to go talk to Kyle, he was like, so we're not using it? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, oh, yeah, I don't know, man. I just whatever you want to do. He didn't want to use the veto. So here's what's happening, Alyssa. There's a 7-person alliance in this house. It's Monty, Michael, Brittany, Joseph, Kyle, Taylor, and Turner. And maybe I missed one. He names the leftovers.
Yeah.
He names all 7 leftovers. He says, Kyle's job is to get information from you and keep you distracted. I think he really does care for you, but game comes first. What happened is they wanted to send you home last week, but then I used the veto. And she's like, wait, so if you had chosen to not use the veto, he would have not used the veto also? He's like, yes. And then they would have voted you out. And she's like, wow. And he's like, well, and so now they want me out this week. And I think you're probably last on their list at this point. They'll probably save you for last. But they are going to just run this game. And let me tell you something else. Michael, he's probably going to win the whole thing. He's already won 5 competitions. You cannot beat him in the final 2. It's over. Like, unless you do something, these 7 people are going to just run the game. And it's like, wow, this is why they need Daniel out.
I was, as much as I just like personally don't necessarily care for Daniel, I was very excited to see this moment happen. I love the leftovers, and I'm excited to see them play this game. But they need an opposing force of some sort, and as much delusion has been going on the opposite side with like Jasmine, with Indy, with Terrence, and with even Alyssa, it's nice to like, hey, these are the facts. The other side is the other side. Cal has been playing this position with you. Are you going to do something about it? I'm here. I want to go against them. Like, let's knuckle up, and like, let's go ham. But I mean, as we can see later in them, it quickly got like, shifted into like, oh, Daniel's like an asshole, and I want to go off on Daniel. But I love the receipts that he was bringing. It was very factual. I wish he was this smart earlier on in the game to figure it out, instead of just right now.
He does conclude the conversation with and my final point here is that I think that Kyle, he's probably going to kiss you right before the eviction to lock in your vote. I think that he's finally going to make that move just to make sure that you vote to keep him. And this is where he kind of did a little bit of a misstep, of course, because he does not know that Kyle and Alyssa have been heavy petting for weeks now.
Wait, what did you say?
Heavy petting?
Heavy petting. I've never
Yes.
heard of that term before.
Oh, believe me, it's been a whole thing, Jacob Jones.
Yes, I know the heavy petting has, but listen, in real life, I haven't necessarily heard of that.
So, but here's the thing. He's going to tell Terrence later that he knows that they've already kissed. He heard them. And so that's why he dropped that line, because he was like, haha, I know they've already kissed. So I'm going to say he's probably going to kiss you to lock in the vote. He played himself. They've already kissed. So of course she's not going to buy this line. And you don't know how long they've been kissing. You screwed it up, Daniel.
Yeah, and I mean, and on Kyle and Alyssa's standpoint, it's kind of hard to not kiss with the sound too, unless you just, unless you just like normal people.
Silent kissing.
Yeah, and silent kissing is not for anyone. Like if you do that, that's like kissing like I don't know, people who sometimes people kiss their moms and dads on the lips. That's like for that.
Okay. So you silent kiss your mom and dad.
Well, no, I don't. I'm not one of those people. I'm right here. I'm not one of those people. But I know certain people, they'll like, hey mom, like, hey mom, but I don't do that.
I'm hearing that though.
But no, listen. Hi mom.
There we go. All
versus
right.
if I'm kissing someone that I'm into, hey. It's the difference. You hear it?
Yeah, I didn't see any lip movement at all though. It just feels like you just pressed your face up to your hand for the silent kiss. Is that how you silent kiss?
Yes.
Just zero lip movement?
I don't silent kiss, but when I'm saying,
oh, you just not practiced at it. Okay.
If you are one of the people that kiss your parents on the lips, it should not. Oh my gosh.
It's just like pressing your face.
No, it's just like, hey mom. Like you just like do, but you don't like go in. I don't know. This is getting into a different territory, but yeah.
So Alyssa leaves the conversation visibly upset. Kyle notices as he's talking to Turner, and so Kyle is going to continue his one-on-one conversations. Now, first with Alyssa. He asks her if she's upset about her conversation with Daniel. She says, well, Daniel told me that you didn't want to use the veto last week. Kyle says, what? That's not true. Of course I did. She's like, so if Daniel had chosen not to use it, you would have used it? He said, of course, no matter what. She's like, okay. Well, he also told me that there's a 7-person alliance with you and Joseph and everybody else in the alliance. And he's like, what? That's not true. And she's like, really? You wouldn't do this to me, right? He was like, no, of course not. Okay. So, well, I guess what's happening is that because Jasmine and Indy think they're working with Joseph, but Daniel thinks that Joseph is in with this other group. And Kyle's like, nah, he's not, and I'm not, and they're not, and it's all a lie. And can you believe Daniel? And she's like, yeah, well, guess the final thing is that he was like, oh, Kyle's going to kiss you to lock in the vote. And they laugh. They're like, what an idiot.
My tongue has already been down her throat. Yeah, that Kyle is so like we've seen Kyle be like lightly called out in certain ways, and we've seen how he react, and it's never like the best way how a person should react if they're like, because he's very like, oh crap, oh shit, yeah, no, that wasn't me. Yeah, I don't know, but luckily, like Alyssa isn't gonna dive that deep into it, because if you like someone and you're making out with someone, if they tell you, yo, the sky is purple, I'm like, I just want to look at your eyes and I will agree that the sky is purple, even though it's blue. So like, you're not going to like really be that pressed to find out the real truth about it. But he's just horrible in that scenario. And then him even kind of going back and saying, oh yeah, Joseph's not in it, I'm not in it. When he was just telling Jasmine or inferring to Jasmine, wait, are you sure that Joseph and Monty aren't working together? Are you positive? No, they have to be. I like the recoil of information from his part.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been interesting because Kyle has been trying to actively avoid actively lying to Alyssa because he, A, doesn't want to lie to her. He likes her. And B, doesn't want to be portrayed as a douchebag that is playing the woman that he's making out with and heavy petting. He's concerned about that. So when confronted directly with did you do this? And he did do this. He's like, what? what do you no, I think. And he doesn't want to lie. But he does, and she doesn't press. And so he doesn't really have to go too deep on it. But he is definitely annoyed with Daniel that Daniel put him in this position, especially because Daniel didn't even really do it to pitch for Alyssa's vote. It was more just like, hey, I'm probably leaving anyway, so here's some information. He's like, screw this guy.
Can we talk about something, Taran?
Sure.
And so Kyle's kind of concerned. One of his concerns, I get he doesn't want to lie to Alyssa, but another one of his concerns is I don't want to look like a d bag by lying to a girl that I'm like flirting with that I genuinely like. And I think people will probably perceive that as being like a douchebag or a dick or whatever. The fact that he does that, but when I see and probably we're not the right people to talk about, but when I see a like woman and I'm like, oh, I want you to play him. I want you to yes, kind of like have that showmance, but still like have your other stuff going on. And if you need to lie, like I egg that on. But with the guy, like I don't want to see like a guy like play a girl on it. But if a girl plays a guy, I'm kind of like, do it up. Like I love it. And that's such like like a be damned if you do, damned if you don't type of scenario. But it is how we look at things, or how I look at things differently. Because I wouldn't want to see a woman be played by a man on the show, but I would love to see a woman play a man on the show. And so it's very weird in that umbrella. What about you?
I mean, I think personally, I think that like once you do sort of like get emotionally sort of involved with somebody, I personally don't really want to see anybody get played in that spot. Like I feel like there's a way. I feel like there's a way to flirt. There's a way to very casually like like use that kind of charisma and use like maybe some crushes against people. I think that's all fair and and theoretically everything is fair, but I think that like if you're like really like deep in and somebody thinks they're in a relationship with you and you're just playing them, like I don't really care what gender you are. I'm a little bit grossed out by it, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I think if I see a guy do it to a woman, I'm more grossed out than seeing a woman do it to a man. I'm just like, oh, don't hurt her. But I guess that's kind of like how it's just like my like interpretation, like even in the world when that boils down to like how we look at like kind of people relationships. And so I'm just like, no, I want like because a lot of times in people's relationships, they oftentimes I feel like, oh, like you oftentimes see like the woman being like played by the man in like a real kind of like real life or in movies and things like that, and
Mm.
seeing like the woman destroyed. And I'm like, I don't like this narrative. I want kind of the opposite to happen. And so it is a complete double standard, but it's kind of like, no, like if a woman, I'm like, damn, like she's smart, get it. But if a man does it, I'm more like, ah, like you suck. And that's just something I need to like work out. But it is weird when I did think about what Kyle said, I was kind of like, yeah, I think you would be probably perceived as a douchebag. But if Alyssa did it to Kyle, I'd be like, all right, smart work.
No, yeah. I
So
mean, I think that applies to a lot of situations in the
yeah.
house, and I think it does come down to the sort of like general power differential and how often it is that that men uh, are able to like be in a situation where they are the aggressor or the
Yeah.
person that is playing the woman, and in society that's kind of like that's kind of the default. And
Hmm.
so as somebody just said, like it's almost like rooting for the underdog,
Hmm.
to kind of root for the woman to turn that around on its head.
Yeah.
So I do think that I think there's some validity to the idea that like
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh well, yeah, you want that to be inverted at the very least. You
Mhm.
don't want a situation where a guy is just playing the women and saying
That's what's up.
you know
Yeah, probably. And I think because I was like raised by women, so I just don't want to like see that happen to like a woman, especially like on national television. And so I think that also comes into mind when I look at like my background and me being raised by like a single mom and then having like sister older as well. And so I just think it may be like a protective, like, oh no, like I don't want to see like you like out there like looking like you getting played by someone. And so
yeah.
but I don't know, just it was just something I was wanting to like discuss for a bit.
Maybe someday we'll get to a place where nobody does it, and
Yeah, no
it'll
one.
be a lovely place.
Yeah.
So Kyle's gonna talk to Taylor, and he lets Taylor know about what happened with Alyssa. Says, but she's totally fine now. Don't worry about it. They agree that Daniel needs some nasty goodbye messages to greet him when he walks out of the house. He confirms again that Terrence is all aboard the Daniel train, which just continues to disappoint Taylor. He talks about how, and really again, bonds well with Taylor here, really talks about like how amazing it is that Daniel blew up on her the week that Amira left, and then right afterward, Nicole and Daniel going home right after one another. Like, how great is this? And she's like, it is great, and she's so happy that it's happening. And they have a nice little bonding session.
Yeah, it was very sweet. I enjoy anyone, because as we saw yesterday, Taylor didn't have like the best day, and so I'm kind of glad that she could like pull herself together and things could fall differently today with her mindset.
So Michael and Brittany talk while all this is happening, and they give their general thoughts on the alliance and what their plan might be moving forward. They talk about some of the threats in the alliance. Brittany talks about something that it's very funny that she brings this up, because I actually had the exact same thought. I just didn't completely tie it into game. Yesterday on the live feed update, I mentioned that they ran through the entire plot of Breaking Bad in a conversation. Well, Brittany is like, Turner's memory is ridiculously good. He recounted the entire plot of Breaking Bad. He knew all of the details. I could barely remember any of it. I don't even need to rewatch the show anymore. And I genuinely was like, same. He was talking about things I was like, I don't remember that. That was like a decade ago. And so it was just very funny to me that she noticed the same thing, that I was like very surprised at how much Turner knew. And it wasn't even like he was like, oh, I rewatched it recently. He just knew those things. So that was
Smart on
funny.
Brittany to catch on to that. That's like something that you probably would be like so like innocently in conversation with, that you wouldn't pick up. Oh damn, like Turner's actually good at this. And I think he'll definitely be a hell of a beast in those type of competitions. So I'm excited to see it.
We'll see. They agree Kyle is smarter than he lets on. They need to keep an eye on Kyle having an alliance with Alyssa and Turner potentially. That is a possibility that might exist, and they need to make sure they're aware and stay wary of it. They're also a little worried about the showman's thing with Taylor and Joseph. They hope that Taylor does not stray from their final three. They still want to go to the final three with her. But they do agree that Joseph has become a bigger threat than Monty at this point, and Joseph would be the one that they cut first before Monty right now.
Which I like hate to hear, because Joseph, he's just like such I feel like a power player in this game. And Monty, I feel like he has done certain things, but we just see Joseph doing like way more. But smart on them to kind of peg that off as like, Joseph homeboy needs to go, instead of kind of the opposite, how the other side views it as like Monty is the person that needs to go.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about with on the roundtable the other night, where I did feel like, what Joseph is doing is definitely interesting, and I think it can work out, but it is now starting to put him, at the forefront of some people's target lists, unfortunately.
And I know you were saying as well, I don't know if you just tweeted this or you said it out loud on the podcast. I'm pretty sure you said it out loud on the podcast, but you said you love how Joseph like still talks game with everyone. And I feel like that's such an underrated thing that people don't see, because again, once you point out, once they pick a side, then they kind of strictly talk game to that side. But I feel as though when Joseph does it so much and people see him interacting kind of with the whole house in that capacity, versus how Monty was like, hey, let's draw the line in the sand. Like, I kind of want to talk to just my people about strategy. I can talk to, and be amicable with the whole house, but I just want to focus on y'all. And so I also think that can strengthen certain views, how people see you. Like, I think Monty is viewed as like, okay, Monty's on this side. And so that's why Joseph's kind of playing the lay of the land. And that's why he would need to go first. And so it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. But if you can move it, smoothly, it probably is better. But Joseph, he's kind of getting pegged for it.
I think the big thing for me is that like having those conversations is really great. He just shares all of the information with his alliance, and so they're aware of it, and then they get sketched out by the good position that he's in. You know, when you're in this spot, you need to be a little, in my opinion, Joseph would benefit from being a little more judicious about what information he tells the rest of the alliance, and what he maybe keeps to himself, so that he's able to sort of like decide his own path in the game without other people seeing exactly what he's doing. So we'll see where all of this goes with Joseph. I think, you know, at the end of the day, his loyalty to the leftovers may be his downfall, but we'll have to just wait and see.
I mean, we said that about Tiffany and Big Brother last season. You know what I mean? Like her tie into the cookout may be her detriment, and we saw her going out first within that alliance. So,
yep. So Brittany's going to do another meditation session. So that's fun. Joseph, Michael, and Taylor are going to concoct. Really, it's really Joseph and Taylor that concoct this. They've been talking about a fake showmance for a while now, and it's time to put this plan into motion. That they want Michael to go and tell people that he thinks he just walked in on something maybe happening because Joseph like jumped out of the bed. And Joseph is gonna start telling people that Taylor's interested in a showmance, and stuff like that. But sorry, I skipped the Taylor camera conversation first, which kind of informs what's going on here to a degree. So we'll get back to the fake showmance in just a second. Taylor talks to the cameras. She has trouble faking it. Not in the showman sense, but in the playing the game sense. There are people in this house that ignore the fact that she was bullied earlier in the game, and it's really bothering her. That she doesn't really understand why Daniel is the other side's leader all of a sudden. That they like what is it about Daniel that makes them want to work with him, knowing what he's done? It's just very frustrating. And I think that I think she understands that other people were also a part of a lot of this stuff, but I don't think she fully understands that a lot of those people are primary people that did the stuff. They just didn't do it to her face. So she really wanted to be Indy's friend, but Indy has made it clear that she has no intention of being friends with her in any way, from wanting to throw hot soup in my face to constantly making it an issue when I do spend time with one of the only friends that I do have in this game, and Joseph. She's constantly up in our business trying to stop us from hanging out. She's just it's just frustrating. I feel like all I do all day is lay around eating salty chips and crying. It's humiliating. She'd love to send Indy home, but she's in a bestie group with her, so she's not sure she can. She says she actually really likes Alyssa. She's happy to have Alyssa on the jury. She thinks Alyssa can be convinced to vote for her. Terrence really disappoints her. I think the Terrence thing in particular is, I think, one of the bigger tolls on Taylor's mental health. And when she talks about people siding with Daniel, I think she's primarily talking about Terrence. We've talked about this before, but she really opened up to Terrence a lot of times. She really felt like she had a bond with him, and to find out that he is choosing Daniel over her and treating her the way that he is, and again, she doesn't even know the half of it in terms of what he's been saying about her. It really, really hurts her. And so, that's really been taking a toll. It really bothers her that she hasn't had a direct hand in any of the moves that have happened in the game, because half the house won't even engage with her in any game talk. So it's been a really difficult thing to do. She thought she'd come in here as one person, and she's ended up having to be somebody else. And so she's not sure what to do. She thinks, my best play moving forward is I'm going to pretend to target Monty again. And maybe once Daniel leaves, people will pull me in because they think I'm willing to target Monty. And then maybe I'll be able to make something happen. She says she wants to just be able to flirt more and have fun in this house and do whatever she wants without people getting in her face. She says she is true to her final three with Michael and Brittany, but she would be interested in seeing how Joseph feels about a final two. She's already kind of thrown that out there a little bit, and she thinks that he might be down. So, she's flirting with the idea of a final two with Joseph.
Yeah, this made me so sad, like just hearing it all come out. I mean, because we've seen what Taylor has went through in this house, and we've seen like the problematic ways that the house guests have went on tyrants about her seemingly doing nothing. And we've even been hurt by some of the comments. So imagine like her being in that position, and I can even understand like, oh, these people, why haven't they even acknowledged? Because it hurts when like you're walking around the house with someone and they just don't acknowledge the traumatic thing. And I don't know if this is like traumatic for Taylor. I imagine it would be, especially stuck in an environment where you feel as isolated, and you probably haven't experienced that, especially later on in your life. Um, and when people just don't acknowledge the trauma that you've been through and just act like it didn't happen, or don't even, bring any type of like, hey, I realize what you went through. I apologize for it. Like, it stings and it hurts. And I feel like, especially being like, I mean, and you all talked about this as well. I won't go on that deep of a dive, but especially being like the only dark skinned like Black woman on this show, like that also can come into play of how the world views just like Black women, as and holistically wise, and some of the just like the traumatic things that they probably will experience, have experienced, like in their life. And then you come into an environment like Big Brother where you're expecting everyone to be as accepting, as loving, because CBS is pulling from the whole world in this and probably casting what they view as the best of the best people for each season. And it just hurts when you don't see that. And especially kind of going on the Terrence note of having a Black man see the trauma that you've been through, but also she doesn't know the extent that he's partaken, to the Taylor bashing with, but just like that has to sting. Because I mean, Black women like are like the most disrespected like people in America. And I think a lot of the times like it needs to be like protect Black women, not in the not just in the Big Brother house, but also outside of that as well. And I think as Black men, we need to do a better job at like standing up. And even though this is a game where it's for like $750,000, I also think, specifically coming from a Black man, I think it's a part of like our duty to see the unjust things that have happened to the Black community, and to specifically the Black women. I think it's like a moral like obligation when you see like this type of shit going on, when you see like a white man like yelling at like a Black woman for unjustly not doing anything. It like it, we need to do a better job at like standing up and like advocating, because it's not like, the stereotypical ways of like, oh, a Black woman, say Taylor Water say something. I don't know even why I'm getting so emotional, but say Taylor Water say something back, it would be like, okay, angry Black woman, X, Y, and Z. But like as a Black man, as the power and as the like viewship that Terrence and Monty both have in this game, like they need to utilize it more, and just to like combat this severity of how Taylor has been treated. And it's sad to think that like she's most hurt by the actions of a Black man. And so I don't know, just like holistically, for like the Black community, for like Black men, I just think we need to take on that responsibility in protecting Black women, because it's not like they have to be strong because they have to be strong. And even like me having like a single mom, I'm just like thinking about like if my mom was like Taylor in this house, I'd be like so pissed, like seeing like everything that happened. I would want someone like Monty or like Terrence to like say something, to like comfort her. And that the fact that she doesn't have that comfort, and the fact that even Indy is trying to strip that comfort away from her, even having Joseph there, is like sad, and yeah, I just wish it would be on people's top of mind to like look back, reflect, and specifically talking to like Monty and Terrence here, but specifically them, to like look back and see how your like girl has been treated, and to like show her an over amount of love. Like we've seen Terrence show Daniel all these love, friendship, bonding wise, but like, I would love for that to be extended to Taylor, just as a comforting, because I'm not saying I am like, if I'm in an environment like Big Brother where it's like say 5 Black people, I will probably find my most comfort within the Black people. And so just to not have that, I'm saying the same thing over again, but yeah, sorry, I just went on that little thing, but yeah, it sucks for her and I feel so bad for her, but I just know that when she leaves, she'll be so loved. And hopefully, I'm glad she has Joseph and, people of the not the cookout, people of the leftovers, what I mean? Like, there in part, but yeah,
Well, thank you for
If we
saying
got
that, Jacob. And I think a lot of people will appreciate you saying that. And I think it's completely right. I mean, just look at like especially what Daniel has said himself, in the house. It was such a relief to him to have the backing of Monty in the early portion
Mhm.
of the season. The basically permission from Monty to act this way toward Taylor was such a huge thing for Daniel because he wouldn't have felt comfortable doing it otherwise. And now he's got Terrence, who is right there with him as well. And so I think that is exactly, part of why Taylor is so disappointed in Terrence because she feels like why is he not backing me up here?
Mhm.
And instead, not only, not backing me up, but actively giving permission and participating in this behavior. It's very disappointing for
Yeah.
on a lot of levels. So thank you again, Jacob. That was a very, very emotional little
I know, and
speech
I'm
there.
not I am a crier, but it was like went into this, I was like, "Oh, Taylor." We've seen how much she's like been through in this house. That like it's been talked about, it's been beaten, beaten, beaten. But yeah, and probably because I just never talked about it, and I'll just be on Twitter. And typically, I'm not a Twitterer either. I'm just like
Mm.
I'll just retweet a whole bunch of shit. So I never got to like say all of that. So it was nice. But thank you for allowing me to.
Of course. Well, Joseph and Taylor are going to enact their fake showmance plan.
Mhm.
Um, this is like, I think for a lot of people, this is the start of a romantic comedy where two people pretend to be dating in order to get through a situation, but then secretly they fall in love. So we'll see what happens there.
I'm
But
hoping that happens.
Joseph is going to come out and tell Kyle and Alyssa, hey, Taylor really wants a showmance with me. She's really opening up to me. I think that she wants Monty out. I think that she's trying to get in with me because she thinks I'm in with Monty. And then Michael comes out and follows up with the fake story about, like, I think I just walked in on something with Joseph and Taylor. Joseph is going to go and talk to Jasmine about it and says, hey, I think Taylor's into me. I think Taylor's looking for something. And Jasmine's like, what? What about Indy? I thought you and Indy were kind of having a thing. And he's like, no, I don't have a thing with Indy. Joseph says, and hey, look, I've always told everybody it's not about looks for me. It's about personality and connection. Let me tell you, Jasmine, if you weren't married, it would be a whole different ball game. And she's like, oh, Joseph. Joseph, I don't think you'd be attracted to me. And he's like, cap. And she's like, I cannot with you, Joseph.
How do you feel about that?
About which part of it?
It's a very touchy subject. But I'm always under the umbrella, like, we know Jasmine is eating this shit up. Like, we know she eating this shit up. I'm always under the perspective, say we're together, Taryn, right? And say we're like walking down the street and you're like, oh, oh wow. Like, they're very attractive. They're very like, don't say that around me or that anyone I'm close to can hear. But if you have that intrinsic thought, like, have it. Like, you have fun with that thought. You do what you do, but never let that come out. I
I
mean,
think
I
it
guess,
depends on the relationship too, and like the people in it.
but say like we're married.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely people that are married that feel totally comfortable like talking to each other about how attractive people are. But if you're not, then that's a different story.
Just don't do that to me.
Yeah, Jacob's not.
Is,
He's not into
my
it.
heart, it can't take it. I'm ready to run through a door. You tell me that.
So Joseph Joseph continues. He says, yeah, I think Taylor's probably gonna like be kind of like following me around a little bit now. But hey, that's good for us because now I can get some insight into her game. If she decides she wants to target you, she'll probably tell me, and then I can tell you. And so I think we're pretty good here. Jasmine's like, oh, okay. Indy's gonna talk with Taylor because it's starting to get around, and he's like, Taylor, do you like Joseph? And Taylor's like, I would maybe want to explore some things, just find some things out. Alyssa comes in, she's like, oh, Taylor, I think Joseph is into it. I think he was like, she's so beautiful. I think she's totally down. And she's like, and just so you guys know, I'm not putting either of you up on the block. Alyssa's doing some work in preparation for the HOH competition, trying to make sure that she lets everyone know she's not putting them on the block. Taylor says, well, my target next week would probably be Monty. And she's trying to put this out there. Jasmine ends up joining the conversation. She ends up talking with Indy, and Indy's like, yeah, there's apparently like Joseph and Taylor starting to become like kind of a thing. And Jasmine's like, oh no, don't worry. When Joseph talked to me, it was a completely different story. He is not into her. It is totally one-sided. But we're gonna all play it up to Taylor like it's mutual so that he can get information from her and use her for that, right? So it's gonna be great. And they talk about taking out Monty and Taylor and Turner and Terrence, and Brittany and Kyle, and save Joseph for last, and maybe Michael too.
When like you like trying to hype up your homegirl, your homeboy. Nah, you got it. Like, you got it. No, he does not like that girl he's been flirting with. Like, come on now. Like, no, he likes you. Like, we're gonna play it up to her, like just like make her feel type of way. But like, you got this, boo. Like, you pretty, you smart, you everything. He wants you. He don't want her. But we're gonna just egg her on. It's kind of like that. Like, let me hype my homegirl up.
It's kind of like that. Yeah, but in this case, it's like you're doing it for nefarious purposes and not to like build their self-esteem.
Very right.
It's like we're gonna. Right. It's like we've seen this in like I've seen it in movies and TV shows before. It's like the outcast kid, like oh, guess what? The really popular cute person in the school really likes you, and they're like, what? No, and they're like, no, they really do like you. They want to meet with you after school, and then they go and they meet up, and like it's like the bullies there to beat them up.
Yes,
or something.
Yeah, or like the guy never shows
everyone
up.
Laughs. They're like, what an idiot! You believed it.
Yeah, cannot be me. I'm always gonna be straight up with my friends.
There you go.
Nah, baby, he ain't seeing it for you.
So Turner and Jasmine are gonna have a bit of a talk, a bit of a game talk. Turner admits he did eat half of the cookie, but not the muffin. I ate the cookie, but I did not eat that muffin.
So like I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy.
Yeah,
that's just what it was.
And there's some pretty standard stuff here. They won't target each other. It's a very fake conversation in general. So just kind of a funny little thing there. Turner's also going to talk with Alyssa. They have a game talk. They agree not to target each other. She talks about how Monty never talked to her at all after he was accused of asking Daniel to not use the veto. So she kind of assumes that he did. She also tells him how Daniel tried to convince her that Kyle wasn't going to use the veto, which obviously is a lie. It's like, yeah, obviously. But they have a little bit of a conversation there. And there's a lot of cam talking yesterday. In addition to the Taylor cam talk, Daniel's going to talk to the cameras. He says, you know what? Sorry, Dan Giesling. You had better people to work with when you played. That's why Daniel, not Giesling, is not performing to the level of Daniel in the game, is because he doesn't. Dan Giesling had better people to work with. Is the thing.
Yeah, Daniel. You need to look inside, deep inside, because if you wanted it to go a certain way, like the cards were laid out. People in the house can play the game. Like with that statement, you put yourself in this position, homeboy. You put yourself in this position. Simple as that.
Brittany talks to the cameras, talks again how hard it is to hide her
And
profession.
also, wait, and not sorry, and this completely got lost on me. Not him drawing a correlation between him and and one of the goats. A man going home fifth, right? Fourth, fifth,
Yeah.
and him not really shaking shit is comparing himself to a Big Brother legend.
I mean, he's also talked a lot about how, man, Janelle, Kaser, I wish you guys were in here with me. You know, we need more Janelle and Kasers in the game so that I could work with them.
Yeah, baby, go scroll their Twitter when you get at the house on Thursday.
Brittany talks again about how hard it is to hide her profession in the game. If she could go back to the start of the game, she would have just openly talked about what her profession is. She feels like she's in too deep now. I again disagree. I think that opening up about her profession now would be a great way to bond with people that she hasn't been able to before, now that they're in a more vulnerable position, and also win some respect because she can talk a bit more about being a therapist and all of that. So I think that she really should just go ahead and tell people. She's very excited because she's like, they asked me to do the guided meditations. Like, I didn't want to like do it too much because I thought it would be like too like overkill or whatever. But they asked me, they wanted it. She's very happy about that.
I love that. I think I would definitely sign up for a meditation class guided by Brittany.
There you go.
Absolutely, and a hypnotist class guided by Brittany. Does she do tarot card?
No, I think she's. I mean, not as far as I'm aware, at least. I think she's. She talks about like she doesn't believe that you can hypnotize people against their will. You can't use it for nefarious purposes.
Damn. Okay, because I had a couple people I wanted to have a meeting with them to kind of allude their minds to a certain Jacob fantasy. But I guess if you can't do that, then I just need to look up another.
Jacob no longer interested in hypnosis.
No, I'm not. I'm like, okay, bye. But like, damn, I would definitely love for her to meet a couple of people that I have an agenda for, including yourself.
Yes. Well, Turner is also going to talk to the cameras. He says, all right, so man, this is like I'm HOH again. I used to do this a lot when I was HOH. Well, I think I told Jasmine and Alyssa what they wanted to hear. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie. I've got like imposter syndrome in this game. I have no idea what's happening most of the time. Like, I'm lost in my thoughts like half the time. Like I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. I mean, never mind. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm a mastermind. No, I'm in an alliance and they tell me like, you need to go do this and this and that. And I'm like, oh, what? but I'm doing it, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, Turner's definitely a fave of mine. His quirky energy, the way he talks to the cameras, he's just, I love every minute of him. I just want to like get in the house and like give him a hug. I love it. And then he was on his way to take a shower.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because people have to play that man earlier on, and so like now, as we've seen, he's like showering and he's doing his due deals.
So the night continues, and the other side, the convenience store, is gonna put their own name on something, but first they're gonna invite 2 leftovers on board. The Swatters is created. Jasmine, Indy, Alyssa, Joseph, and Kyle. A new official alliance that has been created, and they seal it with a Kyle and Alyssa kiss right in front of them.
The way, and I love the crowd goes wild. The crowd goes wild. I was like, are they gonna open it up to make it a full-fledged menage a trois? I like showmances and I like kissing on the live feeds. But if I was a bigger fan of both of them, I'll probably be more enthused about it. But at this point, I'm like, okay, I didn't need that. I didn't need to see that.
Yeah. So basically, the goal of the Swatters is to take out Monty. Pretty much, primarily here. They did not include Terrence. Because basically, ever since they gave up on Daniel staying, Terrence has just been like locked in an embrace with Daniel. Like they just never leave each other's arms. So they just don't really connect with Terrence that much. And that's it. I mean, this is probably going to be a very short-lived alliance. That you know, if Kyle or Joseph win the HOH, obviously they're going to be shooting, or at least probably going to be shooting within this group, or maybe they would go for Terrence or use Terrence as a pawn or something along those lines. But they're going to use it to help protect the leftovers if one of these three wins HOH. So we'll see. It could also encourage Joseph and or Kyle to throw the next HOH. Joseph was even talking about maybe wanting to throw the next HOH because, you know, who's he going to target? So it could have some minor game ramifications, but for now, it's just kind of a sort of like locked in version of what already existed. The biggest really thing that comes from this is that it opens the lines of communication with Alyssa and Joseph, who Joseph has kind of been pushing to target Alyssa for a while, but they actually are going to connect for a bit after this alliance is created. And they talk about targeting Monty. She says, I'm totally honest with you right now. Like, I have no other allegiances in this game. I have no other alliances. Like, I am fully in on this alliance. She says, she tells him, like, I'm opening up to you here. I actually really like Taylor. Like, I actually really think she's funny. And I really think that, like, we could, you know, do something there. I think maybe we could pull in Turner. And that wasn't actually the first time I kissed Kyle.
It wasn't. We've been swabbing spit for a while. Yeah. I do like that. Honestly, though, I know how I was bitching about like early on the podcast. I know how I was bitching about the foursome with Michael, Kyle, Alyssa, Brittany. But I like it a little bit more with Joseph and Taylor added to that foursome instead of, I don't know why. And especially if they want to throw in
a
Turner too.
showman's alliance.
A showman's alliance. I will still be rooting for one showman's over the other, but I think I can possibly get down with this a little bit more than like the original one.
Yes. Well, Joseph eventually fills Taylor in on the situation before they go to bed. But that's pretty much what happens here. The Kylissa showmance continues to heat up here as they had a quite the escapade in the HOH room. She was you know, in her bikini, and he was you know, following proper consent rules. Can I touch your bum? Yes.
I loved, you know what I mean? Like, I loved that. Great job for Kyle. It was like the little fantasy suite, and when you go like talking about The Bachelor. But I mean, Michael let them have it, have the room to do kind of whatever they, you know, wanted to do. And can I touch your butt? It was very like high schoolish, middle schoolish, you know, which people, you know, should do. It was very cute. Could I touch your butt? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he had some trouble afterward. Had to lay down for a little while with a pillow.
Why do you have to lay down with the pillow?
I think he can explain it to you.
I'm so bored and I'm so horny.
The rocket was trying to launch. The gutter snake was trying to come out of the gutters.
Oh boy, Jacob.
The pickle was coming out of the jar. What do you say? It's Taran. Like the robot wire came out of the metal. What do you say?
I don't. I think I
The
don't say.
came out of the piper.
I think I say he had some trouble.
He has some trouble. Yeah. Some people in these comments saying turtle head. No, oh my God, that's. I'm screaming.
Don't hear that.
No, please don't. Absolutely.
Oh boy. Well, that's about what we have from yesterday. Jacob, anything else you wanted to bring up?
Wait, are we not going to keep also people listening and watching? Please keep in the comments your iteration of what we just talked about. But are we not? realized that you started doing questions. Do you only do that when you're alone?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
You're the audience surrogate here. You're the question asker.
Oh, I am the carrier.
Yeah.
Oh, that eats. Okay, put your questions in. You have about 10
Well,
seconds
no, you
before.
got to be your questions.
Oh, my questions. Okay, yeah. Okay, Taran, let me know. Let me know this, because you typically stay like PC with like, oh, you really don't like. Oh, I'm really rooting for this person. I'm really rooting for like this. But can you
Mm.
name your top 2 people that you're rooting for to win right now?
Taylor and oh man, I don't know. Number 2 is hard.
Mine is between. I have a 2 and 3. Mine would be Taylor Joseph or Taylor Turner.
Yeah. I think I'd probably go Joseph just because if he did win, it would be really fun. It would be a really
Mm-hmm.
fun win. Because he's playing so hard.
Yes. Okay, I love that. Okay, which showmance are you stand shipping?
Zero
I didn't
showmances.
answer. No, Taran, give me an answer.
I can't look. The problem is that I am not a shipper. Unless you're in the showmance, I'm not going to push for the showmance because for all I know, somebody doesn't want to be in the showmance, and I don't want to pressure anybody to get
Would
in
you
a
have a
showmance.
showmance?
Would I have a showmance on Big Brother?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Work.
Yeah.
Okay, that was all my questions. Do I have any more? No, I think. I think that's it. I love coming up on here with you. Also, I've been. Also, this season, I do want to make a point. This season has really got me more into the live feeds because it's just been like so fun. Big Brother Canada does too, but it's just like hard because it's a lot of times down. But like Big Brother US wise, I have really, after I graduated from college or when I first went to college, I really been like laid back on the live feeds. And that was just like the other day, you know. I'm not, I'm a spring chicken baby, but this season has really like jolted my excitement with the live feeds. And I don't listen to podcasts, but I have been like listening to your updates. And I just want to like commend you. You know, I think you oftentimes get your flowers, but I think you do amazing. You make it fun, even when you're by yourself. A lot of people like it when you're by yourself. They just want their own intimate time with you. But for people watching, I also want my own intimate time with him. So that's why I hop my ass up here. And I think, yeah, good job at acting, good job at storytelling, great job at explaining, great job at analysis. Everyone, I feel like on RHAP that has came up here with you have been doing a splendid job. The roundtables have been so fun, so exciting. And I just want to commend you for kind of leading the ship with the Big Brother on the Big Brother USA ship guide, and commend everyone else that like has like commented and contributed so many amazing thoughts and adds to kind of what Big Brother 24 has been, you know, for this year. And so great job, everyone.
Well, thank you, Jacob. That's
my friend. My
Oh.
actual friend.
Thank you.
You know what you should have played though? You should have played the clip from last night when Taylor was alluding to like her showmance, but then she switched to the lace. I would have appreciated that much more.
I didn't have that clip.
We'll get it next time.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today. I dropped the latest Among Us video yesterday. Very fun one, goofing around in modded Among Us. If you want to check out some goofy content in Among Us, you can also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong. I'll be streaming today, watching the challenge from last night, and talking about the stock watch. I'll also, of course, be streaming tonight during the eviction episode where we will see Daniel finally leave. And then we'll have a podcast afterward as the wall competition begins. We will probably be doing the thing where the podcast will be full spoilers and we'll just react to the wall competition as it happens. And then if the wall competition is still going after the podcast, I'll be back on Twitch to watch the conclusion of it. So make sure you tune in for that. And the Bestie Twist is ending tonight, so that's exciting. So lots to look forward to. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update on everything that happens today and tonight on the Big Brother 24 live feeds. Jacob, where can people find you?
People can find me at JacobJ_Jones at all social medias. I also know why I went on that tyrant about giving you appreciation, because your exit, you and Rob's exit interview, so good.
Thank you.
I was because you're like typically like when I think of you, you aren't unnecessarily like clearer. You're not here to clear the girls. You're not here to, I don't feel like you're here to clear. You know what I mean? I feel like you give very
I'm
much
here
so
to
I'm gonna
fog.
give facts, I'm gonna give analysis, I'm gonna break down your gameplay. But when someone needs to be cleared, it's nice to see you stepping into that role and like, not I'm gonna say it, you don't have to say it and clearing them. You know what I mean? And so the clearation of the situation was very well executed, and I have never been prouder. It definitely did something to me when I saw you up there laying down receipts and facts. So but yeah, find me on there. Also, I don't know. I think I can say it. I'll do my own release. I think I'm gonna be on the slop on Monday with Rob,
Ooh.
which is very gonna be a lot sloppy than than they typically are. And but
Yeah, if
yeah,
Jacob Jones's kisses have anything to indicate that it'll be a very sloppy podcast.
typically people say like I'm a very great kisser, and I'm not sloppy like with my kisses at all.
Okay.
So
They just sound sloppy.
yeah, I like to give people an imagination of what it could be.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us here today. And I will see all of you